Hello, welcome to Beach View, our podcast where we talk about all sorts of things and stuff.
Yes, and today we're talking about The Nightmare Before Christmas because it's Halloween season.
I think you meant to say, this is Halloween.
Oh, no, I'm not singing.
Well, I'm always one to sing, so.
Yes.
Yeah, we wanted to watch a scary movie, but since I am a self-proclaimed wimp when it comes to horror, we decided to watch something that is a little more tame and not so frightening, but also still spooky that lends itself well to the Halloween season.
Yes, and this is a classic. I've never seen it, so, figured it'd be a good idea to do it.
It was time. Yes, I was actually surprised that you haven't seen it. Just because it's a Tim Burton, from the imagination of Tim Burton, and those are always really interesting movies that have, I think, like darker characters, but they all have like this kind of tenderness. So I think I don't know, I just like Tim Burton stuff. It's kind of interesting to me. So I thought might have been one that you had seen before.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, it was before your time, right?
Yes, came out in 1993.
Yeah.
Which surprised me, actually, when I looked it up, because I thought it was newer than that.
Yeah, that surprised me too, because I don't remember it being that long ago. Like, I don't think I saw it until, maybe 5 years ago. I mean, I saw pieces of it, throughout the years, but I didn't sit down and watch the whole entire thing until, 5 years ago. So I really thought that was, maybe from the 2000s, early 2000s. I had no idea it was from 1993.
Yeah. Well, it was still relevant in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Like it had just come out relevant, it felt like, so.
It did. That's what I thought. And I think, what is really interesting is I read that it had, several re-releases in the theaters, I believe.
Oh,
and so
okay,
maybe, that's what I thought, that, it came out again. Or, I thought maybe that was the first time it came out. But it had such a huge cult following that I think it just stayed relevant, and so I always just thought of it as being more modern, but that makes it even cooler to me that it was put out in 1993, and I guess the stop motion animation was just a really cool, I don't know, it just everything seemed so much more relevant later on, so which is cool.
Yeah.
I like that in a movie.
Yeah. Definitely, there's a reason it's a classic. The animation you mentioned looks really good, and
Yes.
the design works really good.
Absolutely. I did read that it was nominated for, I think, an Academy Award for, I don't know if it's visual effects or something, but it actually lost to Jurassic Park that year. So, I mean, they had some stiff competition.
Yeah.
But it was, yeah, I thought that was pretty telling that, it was, I guess, critically acclaimed in the animation, which is really cool.
Yeah. Which still holds up really well.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a classic Halloween/Christmas movie.
Yeah, that's always the discussion. Is it better to watch this on Halloween or Christmas?
And I always say, why not both? Yeah, I'm actually surprised that it took me that many years to sit. I'm pretty sure I saw the whole thing before, but it just, I'm very, my memory's not so great when it comes to movies. So it wasn't until my niece wanted to watch it a few times. You know how kids get stuck on the same movie.
Yeah.
And so I watched it with her, and that was really fun because she kept messing up the words to the song and singing it all the time, and that was funny. But I thought it was a great movie. So for your first viewing, what did you think?
Ooh, yeah, gonna get controversial here. I don't think I liked it very much.
Okay.
As a movie, as a cultural phenomenon, I'm fine with it. I like it alright, I guess, just because the effects work and character design and
Yeah.
creature and world design is really good. particularly the use of lighting and shadows, I think is just
Yes.
incredible. Like, they did a great job there, and it looks really good. I don't like the story very much.
Yeah.
I think it falls apart in that department, and also, like, the compositions are really good. I think the lyrics are terrible. Like, there are multiple points where I'm just like, that's what they went with? Okay.
Yeah, so I've read that it was based off of a poem that Tim Burton wrote. I believe it was back in 1982 when he was working for Walt Disney Animations. And it sounded like he tried to get this project off the ground, like he wanted to make it like a short film or like a half-hour TV special, and it never got off of the ground. And then finally, like in 1990, I believe, was when like he was able to, I guess, have a successful pitch of it becoming like a major motion picture. And from what I read then, that Disney produced it under Touchstone Pictures instead of Disney because they felt like it was too dark for a children's film. And so to me, like, they had so many years between when the original poem was written to the time that it was developed into a movie. And I'm sure like a ton of stuff goes into that, but like over that many years, and it being like what sounded kind of like a passion project, you know, for Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Like, you would think they'd have a lot of time to really caress or finesse that the composition, like you said. But I mean, I felt like, you know, I guess it's not really a kid's movie, but it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I guess lyrically, like, you know, those weren't always the best. I think now there's a lot more production value in kids' movies. But I don't know. I think, like you're saying, if you're looking at the art of film, like, I always think like stop motion animation is really cool.
Yes.
I thought they did, you know, that production value in itself was really cool on this movie. But yeah, like you're saying, like when it comes to the songs and some of the plot, it's kind of like, okay. But for some reason, it all resonated with the viewers, and
yeah,
it's, I think, still relevant today.
Yeah, well, I think it, like, what you brought up, that it originally was supposed to be maybe something shorter.
Yeah.
I think that would have worked better.
Yeah.
Than it being this whole, like, I don't know. Do you want to get into the plot synopsis and then we'll talk about the story?
Yes, let's get into that. So, if you don't mind, let's hear it.
Yes.
You're always better at plot synopsis than I am.
Well, I feel like I take too long on these, but...
No.
So we open, and the residents of Halloween Town are doing their Halloween thing, so they're singing their song, the big This Is Halloween number, and they're doing their spooks and stuff, and that all finishes, and we get our main character, Jack Skellington, who is not feeling it this year. He finishes his whole thing and he kind of sulks off, and he's disappointed because he does the same thing every year. You know, it's not novel to him anymore. So he sulks off and he sings a song, and we have our second main character, Sally, who's I don't know how you describe her. She's locked in a tower by her creator, and she's made out of cloth or something. No, not
she's
cloth.
Like a rag doll.
Yeah. There you go. And she hears him singing about his woes, and she's like, I get it. Well, she doesn't say that to him because she's hiding behind something. And so Jack wanders off, and he ends up finding the forest that has the doors to the holidays, and he ends up going to Christmas Town, and he's very impressed by Christmas Town. This is where we get What's This, the other, like, major popular number from this one. And he's looking at all the Christmas stuff, and he's so impressed, and he gets back to Halloween Town, and he decides he's gonna do Christmas. That's reinvigorated him. So he's gonna do Christmas now instead of Halloween. So he has a big meeting to explain to all the residents of Halloween Town, like, how this is gonna go. They're gonna do Christmas, and, like, what Christmas is. And it takes him a while to, like, really figure out how to do it. There's this whole extended sequence of him, like, trying to boil down what Christmas is. And Sally's disappointed in this because she thinks it's going to go poorly.
Yeah, she has like I guess a premonition
Yes.
That it's going to end in disaster.
Yeah. But he presses on ahead. He decides he's going to do all the Christmas things. He also has the children of the primary antagonist, whose name is Oogie Boogie, go kidnap Santa. And so all the residents of Halloween Town are working towards making Christmas happen. They're not very good at it. They keep doing Halloween things.
Yeah, they keep like scaring people and...
Yeah, well, they make scary things and...
Yeah.
Because it's Halloween, and Sally tells Jack he's gonna, this isn't gonna go well, but he ignores her. So he presses on, and then we end up getting to the moment where it's time for him to go do Christmas. It gets up to the date of December 25th. The kids kidnap Santa and throw him with Oogie Boogie, who, tortures Santa. And meanwhile, he's made a sleigh where he goes off and he starts doing Christmas. And he's delivering the presents and stuff, and everything goes wrong. The presents are mean or scary or doing awful things, so everybody gets upset, and the military gets called in to shoot him down.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of rough.
Yeah.
It's like a kid's movie and the military shooting him down.
Yeah. At first he thinks they're just celebrating or something, but then he realizes, oh, they're aiming for me, and he gets shot down and he realizes, oh no, I've ruined Christmas.
Sad.
But he gets reinvigorated by this, switching up his thing and realize, yeah, okay, next Halloween, I'm really gonna give it my all. I'm reinvigorated, but he's gotta go fix things, so he has to go rescue Santa. Sally, in the meantime, has tried to rescue Santa from Oogie Boogie, but she's failed, so he has to go rescue them both. He ends up doing that. Oogie Boogie gets defeated, and he's a cloth ghost. He's just sewn up piece
bugs.
He's full of bugs. That's the reveal. And he gets defeated, and Santa's okay, I'm gonna go fix Christmas.
Yeah.
And it turns out Sally was right all along, so they end up doing the romance thing, because apparently that's I don't think the romance works, but that's the end of the film.
Yeah,
and then really
Santa makes it snow as
oh, right.
a thank you for helping save Christmas, I guess. He makes it snow and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the romance thing was kind of put in there just to make it, you know how they always do that in movies, to have a love interest.
Yeah.
To capture a bigger audience, I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of what it seemed like to me. Maybe they just kind of was let's add another layer to this.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear she has a crush on Jack. Sally does, in the beginning. But they have all of 2 conversations in this whole film.
Right. And Jack seems oblivious until the end. Yeah. Yeah,
until the end where because she tries to save Christmas, and she was right all along, so I guess he realizes, and then they do a little song at the end together.
Yeah. And then the little dog Zero is...
Oh, right, I forgot to mention the dog. The ghost dog.
Turns into a star, yeah. So, do you think this is a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie?
I mean, it's kind of both,
It really is, yeah.
That's the point of it.
And I guess, the moral of the story is, stay true to your roots. Or, I guess, don't try to be something you're not. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, though, is that it ended up being good for Jack because he was tired of Halloween all the time. The moral is weird, and I don't think it's... I don't know. I don't know
is
that
there a moral?
Yeah, that's supposed to be stay true to your roots. Don't. But I think it's good if people branch out and try new things, and then discover oh, this is my passion all along. Yeah, I mean that's also because it seems to me the point is Jack needed to step out of his comfort zone like that, see something new. even if
to
it
get
didn't
new
work out.
inspiration. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And maybe it's like give it your all, try new things, and if you fail, like there's lessons in the failure, I guess.
Yeah, but also, like, Sally was right the whole time, so
Yeah.
that he
Yeah.
shouldn't have been doing. I don't know. It's like I said. I think the storyline's kind of a mess. I mean, and it's really more of a like excuse is maybe the wrong word, but like a reason to just put different sorts of scenes to picture like that because
Yeah.
it's a very thin plot. Like a lot of the time is spent like just showing the animation, right? And I
Yeah,
mean, I think it's
exactly.
better for that, but still, I think maybe they could have threaded it better. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I also think so. Like, inspiration for this movie at the time was said to come from like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and The Grinch That Stole Christmas. So I think like as far as the plot, like it's not meant to be real deep, you know?
No.
So I think that's like, I kind of like can glance over that aspect of it. But like you said, I think like the showcase really is in the animation.
Yes.
And for that, I mean, I think the production value was awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
But I find it so interesting how certain movies just resonate like for decades, and like it's still relevant. And I just don't understand how. Like, what makes a movie become that way? Like, what makes this movie, have a cult following?
Well, I guess because it's about holidays, and that's something that happens every year. So, I mean, there's tons
Yeah,
of
that's
movies
true.
for the two holidays in question, too. And, like, I think
Yeah.
just the imagery is very good. The animation is very good, the designs are very good, and that, like, managed to carry because of that. Like, they did a great job visually.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen people that like I know a couple people who like basically they got married and their like themes were like Sally and Jack Skellington, and I thought that was, you know, interesting concept for a real life marriage, but
Yeah.
but like people really love these characters. And I guess like you're saying, like The Grinch is, a classic Christmas movie. There's lots of holiday movies that have such a huge following that they play every year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess that is the allure of this one. But the fact that like, you know, I think people still love this movie is really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The story just doesn't do anything for me. I get like what you were saying about like yeah, it is like a lot of holiday movies. You mentioned Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and The Grinch
Yeah.
are they're fairly simple plots, but they never feel confused. I don't know, maybe they do. It's been a while since I've watched them, but like this feels poorly written, not just simple.
Yeah, I get that. And that's why I was kind of like, they had so many years, like, that I guess that Tim Burton was pushing for it, that you would think it would get some refining, you know,
Yeah.
as they tried it for different projects. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess they were really happy with it, so.
Yeah, yeah.
But I agree, it was a little confusing in some places. And maybe it's just like us thinking too much into it, but
Maybe so.
yeah, I don't know that other people like watch it and are really like, trying to, I guess, watch it with a critical eye. But I mean, that we did for the purposes of this podcast and just because we do anyway.
I
Like,
mean,
we
oh
like
yeah,
to.
no, I'm always like this.
Right, exactly. I was gonna say that's just how we are. But yeah, I mean, I think for what it is, it's a good movie. Well, maybe I say like it's a popular movie, but I really did enjoy watching it. Like it's entertaining,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think at the end of the day, like that's what matters is entertainment value. But I thought it was cute. Like I like the little characters. You have some like lovable characters. You have
Yes.
some like gross characters. And I think the thing that I liked about it was like when they were trying to do Christmas and everything just ended up being like creepy or mean or gross.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that to me was like my favorite part because it's like that's what I like about Halloween is that everything's like dark and creepy.
Yeah.
And I guess just imaginative. It's not just like, the whole like Christmas spirit, which I mean, I like that too, but as I've said before, Halloween's my favorite holiday, and I like the grotesque and the creepy kind of vibes just because it's different, So I thought that
definitely.
part, yeah, when they're trying their hardest to do Christmas and it still gets back to Halloween, I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the basic story concept works. It's just, I don't know, the way it's played out doesn't. Like,
yeah,
everybody in Halloween trying to put on Christmas, and like there being like holidays have towns that oversee them and put them on.
Right. Yeah.
What about the music though? Let's get into that.
Yeah, let's get into the music. I like to sing, so I know you said you didn't think the composition was that
No, I
great.
said I like the composition, not the lyrics.
Oh, you like the composition, not the lyrics. Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
So, yeah, the lyrics, I think could use some work, but it's undeniable that they're catchy little tunes.
Yes, that's true. They're very popular.
Yeah, like I'll even find myself like saying them every, like, what's this? What's this?
Yeah. I mean, I knew those songs fairly well, even though I've never seen the film, so.
Right, exactly. But yeah, the composition was good, I thought. And I'm trying to think of what the song was at the end. That's the only one I can't remember what that was.
Yeah.
But the other ones I think like are catchy, like you've heard them before. I think they've like lasted over the years.
Yeah. The strings are very good, and This Is Halloween, like, as an instrumental, like, really, to me, captures, like, the essence of Halloween. So, job well done on that,
Yes, like, that's one, even if you just hear the instrumental, like, you're like, ah!
Yeah.
Like, it would put you in the Halloween spirit,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's Danny Elfman.
Yes.
Who was the composer and
He's
also
did Jack's singing voice.
Yes, exactly.
We said the same thing at the same time.
Exactly. So he's a talented guy. Lots of chops. So
yes.
I thought that was that to me. Those were the good parts, and of course every animated movie, or Christmas movie, or I guess holiday movie like that always has some good songs in it. So, even though you said lyrically they weren't the best.
I don't like the lyrics.
Yeah.
That's part of why I also don't like, I came away from it being kind of on it, is that, like, just between the plot and the lyrics, like, which is such a massive part of what it is.
Yeah.
That I was just like, oh, I don't know about this.
Yeah. Well, it really is a massive part. I didn't mind it as much as you do, but that's kind of we're always like that. Like, I'm a little bit more lenient on my critique than you are and stuff. But I think what gets me is there's so many, like, I guess iconic things about the movie that you see over and over and over, like the part where he's like walking down I don't even know what that, like, spiral, like,
yeah, the weird hill thing.
Yes. Yeah. That's like, one of those images that you see and you immediately identify it as this movie. Like, even when you see like different renditions of it, you're like, oh, that's from The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
I think those things, Jack Skellington and Sally are just like kind of that iconic couple that, that represents like Halloween. And I don't know, I think there's so many, like, the imagery just stands the test of time, I guess, like, and I just keep going back to, like, this was in 1993, like, how was it that long ago? I just
right, yeah.
Like, mind blown.
Yeah, it's definitely managed to stay relevant.
Yeah, which, I mean, all the great holiday movies do, so,
yeah.
Even watching, like, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like, if it's on TV or something, or, like, if I'm with a child for some odd reason, like, that happens to be watching that. Like, I'll always sit there and watch it because it's like a classic from my childhood, you know? But you look at it and you're like, this plot's a little iffy, you know what I mean? You still
Yeah.
watch it because it's like a classic movie, you know? So I think, like, this is right along with that. Like, I think this will always be a popular thing.
Yeah. I mean, which again, like, I cannot say enough in praise of the visuals. I mean, like you
Yes.
were saying, like, the imagery, but also, like, just everything that they did visually really works.
Yeah, which I think that's Tim Burton's gift. Like
Yeah, that's true.
he really is he just has that imagination that I don't know, that's his whole thing. Like I love his movies cuz you know it's going to be kind of dark but also not, you know, but the imagery is always, you know, it's always a bit eccentric, I think.
Yes.
And I think that is just really again creative. So I love that. But I think that it's overall, I mean, I would give it a watch again, you know. I think like, you know, like I said, kids, like even kids today are watching it, so it's just one of those things
Yeah.
I think will always be around.
Yeah, yeah. And my overall thoughts are that yeah, I mean I think the parts it does well, it does really well, but to me as a movie, it gets dragged down by the parts that don't.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is kind of, it's not long as far as movies go, but it
Yeah.
seems a little long when you're watching it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
Like you're like, all right, let's wrap this up. Yeah. But I mean, I think that's just with holiday themed movies in general, you know?
Yeah.
They try to stretch it out and, you know, it is what it is. But yeah. So what, do you have a favorite part or a favorite character or anything like that?
I don't know. I think probably there's this one part where he's walking through the forest and it's like the afternoon sun or morning sun, and I think like the way it's like the lighting and shadows was really good. Like I
Yeah.
really like the way they used lighting in this film and in the shadows, and it creates some really stunning visuals.
That is, it's funny that you say that because just last night I saw this thing online and it was like a juxtaposition of the movie Halloween and it had like, you know, how they made like a bunch of sequels and, you know, all that.
Yeah.
And it was like from 20 years ago, it was like a scene and then from now and it was a scene and it was, with like the lady screaming and it's the same like character and they just showed like from 20 years ago to now and they're like what do you see the difference in these scenes and it, like in the background there's like somebody standing like in the shadow like the creepy you know standing in the shadow and then the one from this period was just like the person just standing there like not in the shadow and stuff and it was like a whole discussion of like man like the art of filming was so cool like the lighting and effects like they really did this back in the day, like 20 years ago, to add to the ambiance, to add to the creepiness. And they're like, and look at the one today, like the dude's just standing in the doorway, nothing scary about that. Like he's just standing there, you know? Like, and so it was just a funny discussion that like, you know, the lighting that they used like made the, you know, scary character appear like a ghost in the doorway, you know, where you can only see part of them and like real creepy. And then like the one today is just like he's just chilling there, not scary, you know. The girl's still screaming, but it's just a difference in the lighting, you know.
Yeah, I think though the original, I think the picture from that still is much older than 20 years.
Probably, yeah.
I think you're a few
Yeah.
decades off there, maybe.
You know, I'm a little fuzzy on those details, but I think like I think that is true in a lot of cases that I think that a lot of thought used to go into things like, you know, the production value, the lighting, and the creating the right atmosphere and that kind of stuff. Even in this kind of movie, The Nightmare Before Christmas, that was really well thought out to just kind of keep the themes and just make it an interesting, you know, composition of the movie. And now I think sometimes projects are rushed out and they don't really take a lot of that into consideration. I mean, of course, that's just you know, me being critical, but I don't know much about the movie industry and production.
Yeah, I forget. There was a particular thing I know people were discussing. I saw that same, like, juxtaposition. I forget what it was. It was something about, like, the lighting being much flatter.
Okay.
There was a reason for it. People were saying there was a reason for it, but I don't remember it now.
But it was so much cooler in the first one than it was in the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I agree with you. I thought the lighting in this, in that scene was good.
Yeah.
The one that you're talking about, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Mm-hmm. What, do you have a favorite scene from The Nightmare Before Christmas?
Not really a favorite scene, but like I said, I think was funny. And I guess maybe this is when, like, they're doing Christmas, but it's all wrong, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, the little kid, like, the parents are like, what'd you get for Christmas? And the little kid, like, pulls, like, a head out of the present. And the parents, like, scream. And I don't know why it was funny to me. Because it's like, why would you have a head in a box for Christmas?
Yes.
And I thought that was just it just went terribly wrong. And that was the funny part to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, I think it was like, a good movie. Obviously, people love it. They still, watch it, and kids watch it, and yeah.
All right. Well, is that everything, or I'll take us out?
I think so. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, not particularly.
Okay.
All right. Well, that has been our podcast, Beach View. We hope you enjoyed and tune in next time. Bye.
Bye.